Welcome to the Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, Captain Logan, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, we're going to be talking about server stability, merchandise, the patch notes, the Halo ship set, as well as the event that's coming up in just a few hours as the time of recording. But before we get into that, let's hear from our sponsors. That's right, the sponsors this week, of course, are the patrons. They're the one that are supporting me. They are the one that are sponsoring the content that you're hearing now. So thank you to Chateau Neuf, Cloud, Cosmic Johnson, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Trickster, Jabaro5, Kazia the Rogue, Lumpy SRQ, Dub Goose, Evil Morpheus, Xbox Mike 29, Munchie, Regis Stella, Rust Belt Kid, Teen Professor, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Super Pack, Fergatron, a new patron, Russell. Russell, if you have a specific name that you'd like me to call out on the patron call out show or part, let me know. Let me know what you want to have your name as. Skinny Matt, Straw Hat Connor, Windsor Chris, and Zam Wow. Thank you all so much for your support. Again, it means the world to me. I say that every week. It helps out tremendously to help take care of the costs for the podcast, to help put some money towards equipment, towards software, towards just anything that I need to do. You guys are helping make that possible. So thank you so much for your support. And with that, let's get into the episode. So I talked about server stability, merchandise, patch notes, Halo ship set, the event, all that good stuff up at the top. And I wanted to start off with the first item on today's docket, which is going to be server stability. This is something that I really have not really paid much attention to as of late. And I'm not really talking so much about whether or not you're having a server issue as far as latency when you're shooting at someone, or when you're trying to grab something, it doesn't quite pick up. There's that latency that you get. What I'm talking about is overall stability with the game. The game itself, having trouble with stuff getting turned in and having recognition. I think it's something that I mentioned last episode where I talked about throwing googly eyes around. Just ignore me. And the googly eyes are courtesy of Captain Balzania. So thank you, Captain, for giving me a whole chest of little googly eyes that I can put on stuff. But I'm playing around with those while I'm talking because I have a little mat here and it has Diablo on it. And I'm putting little googly eyes on my desk mat for Diablo because it's funny. So server stability. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about when you turn in something to a trade company or an NPC, when you put in loot to the system and it recognizes it, you get the ledger position, you get the gold, you get the doubloons, all that stuff. Imagine you just spent a couple hours sailing around. You went and got a Fort of Fortune. You stole it handedly from a solo slooper who was on the last phase of the Ashen Lord. And lo and behold, they never came back for the rest of that. You know, they probably did what I would have done, which is cry myself to sleep with a glass of chocolate milk and a bowl of ice cream. That's kind of my go-to if I were to lose a Fort of Fortune as a solo slooper, daring in his little small IQ brain that I could get a Fort of Fortune uncontested, and to lose it. So you got a Fort of Fortune. You're running emissary for Athena's Fortune because you need it for that ledger. You want to get those those ledger positions knocked out. You want to try and get those cosmetics because you're going to be behind otherwise. And after that, you finish up the Thieves Haven run that you had started to try and boost up your emissary ledger value, because you want to get rank 5. You want to get rank 5 emissary because you're trying to get the emissary ledger value. It's important. In Athena, it is very, very hard to do. So you get all that. You finish up your Thieves Haven run, and you get your Athena emissary quest. It's a quick quest. It's not too hard. You're daring that you can get most of this stuff knocked out in time to be able to get in to turn in, and it works. It works out great. You and your crew, you go out, you dig up the chests, you kill some skellies, you grab all the mega kegs, you throw them onto your ship, you head over to the nearest outpost, and you turn it all in. And you don't think much of it, except at the very end, you start to pay attention to the fact that none of the gold has registered. None of it. And you're thinking, okay, well, probably just delayed, probably not a big deal. I'll just log in later on after we're done with the session and see what my ledger value is, so I know how much more I have to do to get to the top tier so that I can get those cosmetics, so that I can get the stuff that I've been working so hard to get. And you log in later on and there's nothing there. And you think, oh, it's not a problem. I'll just check it out tomorrow. Probably take 24 hours, maybe 72 at most. And then 24 hours comes. And then 48 hours comes. And then 72 hours comes. And suddenly you realize that that weekend that you spent sailing around, the hours that you dumped into working on that Athena ledger was for naught. You didn't get anything. You didn't get a darn thing. So you think, okay, well, you know what? It happens. It happens once in a while. It sucks, but it's not a big deal. And you put in a support ticket and you let them know, hey, I don't know exactly how much. Maybe you guys can track it. I've got the times. And you supply the information that you can because you didn't really think much of it. You trusted that the servers were going to take care of it. And you put in the ticket and initially they say, sorry, there's nothing we can do for you. And you think, wow, really? There's absolutely not. You guys have this analytics, like you have this server information. Why can't you figure this out? You resolve yourself to just accepting the fact that you're not going to get you that ledger position. You'll have to make it up later on in the month if you can find time. And you come back a little bit later and you get another email. This time support reaches out and says, hey, we understand we can't get you what you want. As a show of goodwill for your issue, we've now added 50,000 gold and 30 doubloons to your account for any losses. 50,000 gold and 30 doubloons. No ledger position. Nothing. No reputation towards the reputation that you were working towards, if that's something you were working towards. 50,000 gold. That's 5 Ashen Wind Skulls. It's a decent amount. I'm not going to say it's not, but most people, if they're sailing a long time, can usually rack up somewhere between 500 to 1,000,000 gold. Easy. Especially if they're working on an emissary. So 50,000 gold isn't a whole lot to me. It's not a whole lot to many people in the game. Maybe for some, I'm not going to discredit that. But when you've got a Fort of Fortune's worth of loot, an Athena emissary's worth of loot, and some little tidbits here and there, 50,000 just doesn't feel like it really cuts it. It really doesn't. And it's not even so much about the gold. I don't care so much about the gold. I care more about the ledger position. So I wanted to bring this up because this is something that happened to me. It happened to a couple friends, and it's not an isolated incident. In fact, this incident happened on a weekend where nothing was mentioned about server stability. No mention at all. And the reason I bring this up is because yesterday, Sea of Thieves put out a notice from their server on Discord that they typically do when issues come up like this, or on Twitter when issues like this come up. And it says the team is currently aware of matchmaking issues and receiving currency issues. We are investigating and will update once it is resolved. Please be aware that you could experience a delay accessing the game and some players may be unable to get in. Thank you for your patience. The problem that I have with this is not so much that you can't really log in. That's a bummer. It sucks that you can't log in. I've tried logging in yesterday or earlier today to actually get to do this. The biggest issue for me is the frequency that this happens. This happened last weekend when I tried to turn in a bunch of stuff and I didn't get anything out of it. It happened this weekend, right before I was about to log in and really put in some time, try and knock out my merchant, because I still need merchant and I still need Athena. And granted, I have another month, hopefully, depending on when the next season comes out and when the ledgers reset, to be able to get those done. But I started to go through this official announcements channel that I have in my Discord, because I started to think this is starting to become a bit of a common occurrence. So I started scrolling and the more and more I noticed, the more and more I found out that this is a monthly occurrence. Whether announced or not, server instability is becoming a bit of a known quantity for most players each month. Sometimes it's a hotfix, sometimes it's just regular maintenance, sometimes it's something as weird as them forgetting to put in the Lorena letters of recommendation for each season. But I'm starting to notice every single month, and I scrolled back all the way back to July before I finally realized this has been something that's happening every single month. Not always on the same time frame, not always, when you expect it, but for sure, when I read back through my official announcements in my Discord server, I notice back in October, the team is aware of current issues with matchmaking. We are investigating and will update once it is resolved. Until then, please be aware that you could experience a delay accessing the game and some players may not be able to get in. Thank you for your patience. It's something that I don't know what it needs to take. I don't know what has to happen for this. I appreciate that Sea of Thieves is having maintenances, that they are taking down the servers and resetting them. September 22nd, we are aware of an issue that arose yesterday and prevented players from accessing Sea of Thieves support site. This is something that's being investigated and an issue resolved, so players needing to raise a ticket request should be able to do so. September 15th, we are aware that some players are currently having difficulty logging into the game. This is a widespread issue affecting many services, including Sea of Thieves. August 11th, while the team is investigating the making progress on telemetry issues causing data loss, the work is not complete, and another incident overnight left us with unrecoverable player data. We share your frustration with these events and assure you we are working hard to end them. This is in August. In the meantime, compensation, 50k gold and 30 doubloons is available for players sailing the Sea of Thieves from today to Wednesday, August 25th. Please allow for 72 hours from the time of playing for this to show up in your account before contacting the support team. August 3rd, following investigations into yesterday's reports of gold and reputation not received when selling loot, some data has been proved unrecoverable. Players who sail the seas between today and Tuesday the 17th of August will receive 50k gold and 30 doubloons as compensation. July 26th, following an interruption of player rewards on Sunday, July 25th, some data has remained unrecoverable. We apologize to those affected and will be providing compensation of 50k gold and 30 doubloons to players who launch Sea of Thieves between now and August 9th. I really want to play Sea of Thieves. I really want to invest my time in it. And in a time currently when there is so much from Xbox that is begging for my attention, Forza Horizon 5, Halo multiplayer, Halo 5 story, I'm going through that, as well as a multitude of other games on other consoles that are just begging for my attention. The one thing that is holding me back from wanting to play Sea of Thieves every single day is the likelihood that what I do is either not going to be enough time or anything that I do is not going to count. So if this seems like a pretty negative outlook on what's going on, then it is in line with the frustration that apparently the Sea of Thieves team is dealing with. July 20th, we are aware some players are experiencing matchmaking issues. The issues are being investigated and we will update with further information as it becomes available. Sorry, that was June. I don't know if I said July or June, but that was back in June. June 3rd. After investigating the interruption to player rewards last weekend, we have narrowed down a window during which data was unrecoverable. We apologize to all affected players and will compensate anyone active in the game during the time. Unfortunately, any progress made towards commendations within this window cannot be recovered. However, anyone who played during this period will receive 100k gold and 90 doubloons as compensation. Compensations will be rolled out directly to players' accounts, but may not appear immediately. We will update you once this is done, but please allow 72 hours for it to arrive before contacting the support team. Thank you all for your patience while this is investigated. I don't know what the team has to do, but they've got to do something. If you got to hire more engineers, if you have to ask studios for additional help, if you got to start talking to Microsoft about the Azure servers, you got to do something. You got to do something. This is an ongoing issue. And I didn't really pay much attention to it because, again, most of the time, perfectly fine. Not a big issue. Every once in a while, I get a free 50k gold and 30 doubloons. But at this point, I'm done with the gold. I'm done with the doubloons. It's not a big deal. I just want the stability. I want that reassurance that what I do in the game is going to matter, that I'm not going to lose out on that I'm not going to have to sit there and make sure that I am completely safe before I turn anything in, and I have to start turning in pieces of loot slowly to make sure that stuff registers each piece one by one. I don't want to have to do that. You don't always get that option. Sometimes you get a ship bearing down on you and you don't have time to just sit there and nitpick. March 19th. I scrolled a lot, by the way. We are aware that some players are having difficulty accessing the game and the Pirate Emporium. We are working to resolve the issue. We will update you as soon as we can. Thank you for your patience. You guys got to do something. You're going to be doing Golden Glory weekends. It typically happens during the holidays. I would really hate it if people decided to take time during those weekends to really play the game, work on their legendary commendations, work on getting those knocked out because they can get it done faster with the double gold, double glory, and not get it and not have that stability. Halo multiplayer just came out. Forza Horizon 5 just came out. They hot dropped Halo multiplayer, and those servers, aside from the first day, have been pretty good. they've been pretty freaking good. Sea of Thieves used to be like that. We used to have issues in the first year when it was really popular and you guys had to spin up more servers and stuff wasn't always counting. But there was a good period of time where things were really stable. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to the stability that this game should be known for when sailing the seas. Physics aside, hit registration aside, you got to be able to turn in your loot and trust that it's going to count. Because otherwise, there's nothing to this game. You can PvP all you want. You can PvP to your heart's content. But at the end of the day, sinking ships isn't enough. There's got to be gold. There's got to be reputation. There's got to be renown. There's got to be ledger position. There are drives in the game beyond just the game core mechanics that people come to this game for. And if we're constantly getting these updates every single month that things are not registering, that's an issue. That's a red flag. That's something that the mechanics side of the team, the engineering side of the team, the server side of the team, whoever it has to be, because I don't think it's the artists. I don't think it's the audio. I don't think it's the music. I don't think it's the designers. It's the engineering stack, whatever that is. Whatever the server stack is, whatever that is, I don't know. I don't pretend to know. Whatever that is, has to get looked at, has to be addressed, has to get ironed out. Because I don't know what's going on with the game that is causing the instability, whether it's the stability of the servers, whether it's the stability of the game, or both. It could just be both. Spaghetti code when they refer to stuff like this, when stuff is so intertwined that pulling one tends to cause a really big issue because you're tugging at different things and issues arise. It's got to get fixed. It's got to get ironed out. I don't care if I don't get a hit registration on an enemy who's trying to steal my Athena chest, because if I don't kill them as they're turning in my Athena chest, chances are the servers aren't even going to give them credit when they turn it in. And someone should at least win out of that. If I can't kill them and they manage to get my Athena's chest and they turn it in and nothing happens, they're going to turn around and blunder bomb themselves. I'd set myself on fire with a firebomb because I'd be so frustrated that it didn't count towards the commendation for turning in a stolen Athena chest. That's what I mean when I talk about server stability. So let's get into the fun stuff. Next up on today's docket, I want to get into merchandise, because merchandise is a really important of what I like to do with Sea of Thieves. It's something that I love to buy. I love to get the shirts. I love to get the different coins, things like that, things that I can kind of show off my fandom. I think everyone does it. Most people do it, whether it be pops or amiibo, statues. I've got a Master Chief statue from Best Buy coming in later this week or next week. And I wanted to talk about some of the things that came up with the Sea of Thieves podcast. I got a chance to listen to the episode and I really enjoyed it. Some of the things that I took away were things that I'm going to be talking about later on. I'm really excited that there's a second book on the way and that it pertains to a character that we know about. And I have an idea about who it's going to be, but I don't want to toss out any ideas because I think it might actually spoil it, and I'd rather that be a surprise. So I'm looking forward to it if that's the case. If I'm right, I'll be happy. But it's one of those things that I'll be the only one that really knows about it. The other part of the podcast that I wanted to jump onto was with Adam. Adam and Pete are the two gurus that deal with all of the merchandising for Sea of Thieves, whether it be with the comics or whether it be with the controller, whether it be with the chairs that are going out or the coins that most people buy. And recently, we got some new merchandise in the Sea of Thieves store. Now, it's kind of interesting because on the actual Sea of Thieves website, if you look on the top banner, there's actually a new spot there for store, and it'll take you to the raregames.store page. And we've got two new items in there. One that I actually ordered. One is a rare exclusive knitted jumper, which is just a sweater for Americans. And the other one is a Sea of Thieves exclusive knitted Christmas jumper. So one of those ugly Christmas sweater type things. And they're going for about $40 USD, which will probably be a little bit cheaper if you're in the UK or using euros. And I went ahead and ordered it. The one thing that I'm not too keen on is the fact that these are acrylic. I was kind of hoping that these would actually be knitted out of something a little bit softer than acrylic, but generally when I'm wearing a sweatshirt or a sweater in general, I usually have something like a t-shirt underneath of it. So I'm not too worried about this, but I went ahead and ordered it because it'll hopefully come in the early December, and I'll be able to have that for the rest of December to kind of wear around. In my place, I'm already starting to celebrate Christmas. I've got the lights up, and my wife and I are just kind of enjoying the atmosphere, because let's be honest, it's still been a pretty rough year. We're still in the middle of this coconut fever issue, and as a result, we're all just trying to feel something positive. So having the holidays is always a good way for us to kind of celebrate that. So I'm getting myself a Christmas sweater. I am looking forward to wearing it because it looks adorable. Hopefully it's not too bad as far as how it feels. And otherwise, I'm just looking forward to that. So those are available for pre-order. It looks like they're out of stock right now for different sizes. So hopefully you got a chance to check this out and got a chance to order one. The other weird thing that we got, which I was not expecting, is we got some weird coffee stuff that got announced. And this was something that was it's a giveaway, I think, that they tried to sell this. And Madrina's Coffee, which is the brand that they're doing, is now doing a giveaway for these because they sold out pretty quickly. For about $40 you could get some coffee, and this is a dark chocolate salted caramel coffee, which is a mouthful, not gonna lie. But it came with a Sea of Thieves green bottle shaker. I'm not even sure what you call these things. It looks like those protein drinks, but it's apparently coffee. So I'm really not sure what this is. And because of that, I ended up not really going for it because I just not sure if it's something I'm going to do. I have no clue how dark chocolate salted caramel coffee tastes like. I'm pretty basic. I'm pretty gosh darn basic when it comes to coffee. If I can stick it in a Keurig and make it work and then put some French vanilla in there, I'm pretty solid. I'm not a huge connoisseur of coffee. But that went quick. I was so surprised at how quick that went. Apparently the shipping on this to the UK was ridiculous. Shout out to Ukulele, or not Ukulele, UK. For kind of talking about that. And yeah, just really surprised about that. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk about is two part. One, it deals with Adam talking about the possibility of doing another limited edition Sea of Thieves controller. Now, for those of you that are the uninitiated, back when the game was launching, they had been working out for a long time a Sea of Thieves Xbox One controller. Now, this is a clear purple it's a translucent purple controller. It has laser etched barnacle crevices in the actual controller. It has a gold tooth trigger. It has a glow in the dark Reaper's mark in the middle, as well as some teal buttons on purple background. This controller is probably one of the most beautiful controllers, and I picked it up with the charging dock that has the battery pack in the bottom of it. And the battery pack itself has a battery cover that has the Ferryman logo of the two crossed. I can't remember what the name of them is, but they're not the unicorns. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. I can't remember what the name is right off the bat, but it's a beautiful controller. It is literally one of the best controllers, hands down, by most Xbox fans. And the fact that we could be getting a second type of limited edition controller excites me, because with the new console, with the new Series X and Series S controllers, it has that share button. I can't tell you how big of a deal the share button is for me, to the point that when I just picked up my Halo Master Chief Elite Series 2 controller, I went in, and one of the profiles that I have is literally using two of the paddles on the back of the controller set up for taking a photo and taking a screenshot, because it's that important that I have a share button. That share button is essential. They really need to go in and actually change the software on those so that you can add a push or hold feature for those remappings, because being able to hold down the share button on the Series S and Series X controller to actually like create a clip versus just clipping a screenshot, huge. Absolutely huge. They still need to go in and really make that software robust, give you a lot more tools, give you a lot more features. The sharing capabilities on the Xbox software is just not great. It pales in comparison to the Switch or the PS4 or PS5. I really like their software in comparison, but I really want to have a new controller, a new Sea of Thieves controller, because the one I have it's beautiful, it's great, but the little grip on the joysticks is starting to wear down. It's starting to get flat because I used this so much. This thing is like going on 4 years old at this point. So I want to have a new one. I want to retire this one. I want to take out the battery and preserve it so that if I did want to use it in the future, I could pop in a couple AA's and have fun, not have to worry about it. The other part of this deals with Adam making deals for future content, for future, not future content, for content for the game. I have recently subscribed to purchasing toys, figures from a company called NECA, N-E-C-A. I've been purchasing their Gargoyles line of figures, action figures from them. Right now I've got a Goliath. I just pre-ordered Theolog, which is just Goliath backwards with a little bit of a twist on the arrangement, because it sounds weird if you try and say Goliath backwards. And it got me thinking. It got me thinking a lot about something that Sea of Thieves is missing. And I think it has to do with action figures. I'm not really sure, like the size or the number of points of articulation. I'll leave that up to them to kind of work out the models and stuff like that. But I really, really think that Sea of Thieves, hands down, is one of the biggest IPs for Microsoft. I think Xbox has done a great job of fostering this game and presenting it, keeping it fresh in people's minds, and keeping it on Game Pass so that players can jump into it whenever they want. They've done amazing tie-ins with Pirates of the Caribbean. It has basically become the pirate game amidst a lot of other games. Now, we don't know what Skull and Bones is. Kings of Sea is not that well known. Most people fall back to Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, and Sea of Thieves. Because of that, I think this is a great opportunity to start making some action figures, some Flame Hearts, some DeMarcos, some Lassettis. Let's get some Lorena in there, some Gold Hoarder. Let's get some Davy Jones in there. Let's get some Pirates of the Caribbean stuff in there for action figures and tie it in with like the ferrymen and the different people that are in Sea of Thieves, the different characters. They're so unique. It would be so easy. And this was almost something that we had. We almost had statues for Sea of Thieves. Now, I'm not talking about like the Loot Crate stuff that you've got, the weird kind of characterized or cartoon style of the Gold Hoarder, or not the Gold Hoarder, Flame Heart. I'm not talking about the Tutaku figure for the Gold Hoarder. I'm not talking about the little character or the little cartoon versions. I can't remember the Utes. Can't remember what they're called. Where they had the different characters like the skeletons and stuff. I'm talking about actual figures, like actually cool looking figures. And I wanted to harken back to 2018 when a company called Tier 1 Accessories was going to be making 3 figures. Now, one of these figures never even came to the game. She was supposed to be, like, from what I've heard, she was supposed to be the Pirate Lord, or at least the Ferryman, one of those two characters, and that was Belle, Legend of the Deep. So I'm looking at an image from summer 2018, the 6-inch figures that was supposed to be Captain Flameheart, which is the quintessential Captain Flameheart from the trailer back in 2018. Ramses, the Pirate Lord, who has his kind of griffin claw peg leg on a barrel with a dog next to him, raising a tankard as he is wont to do. And then Belle, who is holding up a green torch. And Belle was even a character that they built a giant statue for the E3 events. As I recall, she was in the studio for a long period of time. They even had her, she was kind of hanging off of one of those, I'm blanking on what they're called. I'm having a tough time with words tonight. But one of those buoys that are kind of out in the middle of the ocean, but it was like a Ferry the Damned version of it. And that was just, it's a shame. It's a shame these figures never came to fruition, because I would actually love them to come. I would love to have figures. And a lot of this kind of sparked into my mind because, again, the recent advent of me purchasing figures from NECA and Adam talking on the podcast about talking to a company about coming up with some new merchandise. Now, I don't know what company he was talking to where he said he was kind of dreading it, but this company has constantly been bugging him and Pete to be able to try and merchant or license Sea of Thieves to make some products for them, I imagine it's probably Nerf. I'm going to be honest. I've seen a lot of Nerf stuff out there, and with Halo coming out with some Nerf guns, I think it'd be really funny if Nerf wanted to make some swords. They could make the Ferryman Cutlass. They could make the Blunderbuss. I don't know how they do the blunderbuss, but they could do the flintlock pistol. It'd be a really dumb kind of Nerf toy, but I would actually buy it. I as much as I was thinking about picking up the $50 AR for Halo, I didn't do it because I don't necessarily need that. That's not a need. I don't have any kids, and my cats won't play with Nerf, so I'm not going to worry about that. But I would love to have some figures, man. I love my figures. I've got a really awesome kind of case behind me in the studio where I have my little figures. I got my little loot crates, and I've got my Tutakus, and I got a couple skulls and my art book, and they look awesome, but they are missing some statues, some really, really cool statues. And I would love to see if the studio could go back in time, really consider this something they should move forward with, and actually license out their IP to a couple different places to be able to make some of these figures. I would love a 10-inch figure or a 12-inch figure, and probably a 10-inch figure from Dark Horse that has some of the characters from Sea of Thieves as big statues, big centerpieces for my displays. That's a big want. That's probably a lot of work, but it's one of those things that I think would be great to have. We almost had Flameheart and Bell and the Pirate Lord. It was almost there. It was almost there. Like, we almost had Halloween masks that were the Reaper's mark that were handed out during an E3, and not many people have those Reaper marks that are it's just a face mask. It's just a plastic face mask that with a little elastic band that goes around your head, and you walk around with the Reaper's mark on your face. It looks silly, but that's something that's out there. These never came out, and I'm kind of bummed because I would love to have all three. I would love to have a multitude of them, and I would definitely pay money. I would definitely drop the cash for some of these, especially if they started bringing out some of other people's favorite characters and stuff. So this is what I was thinking about recently. I was thinking it would be great if there was a way that we could start getting some better merchandise that catered to the collector groups out there. I haven't seen anything in the rare stores that deal with Sea of Thieves that isn't a like a beach towel, or like we recently got the world map side table, and that table, it's cool, but it's not $120 cool. I'm pretty sure I could get a vinyl sticker of the world map printed out and put that on a table for much, much less. Run over to IKEA, do that. But a lot of the merchandise that we get for Sea of Thieves tends to be either prints or coins or shirts. It's the U-Toots. I found it. I found the U-Toots. So we had Flameheart, we had a Skelly Keg, and we had the Kraken on a galleon. Those are the three. I'm kind of going through the store right now. But I like these things. I really do. I think they're cool that we have them, but they're not something that compels me to drop the money on them like a figure, like a statue. As soon as I saw that Master Chief with the red plasma sword, with the hook shot coming out, dropped the cash on that like it was nothing. It was just like, yeah, I'll order that. Why not? It looks amazing. So I did. But with this, I really hope that Sea of Thieves takes a look at the potential for figures. I would love to have a Wanda figure. I would love to have a Duke figure. If anything, just so that it would say Duke the Dark Lord on the little nameplate on the bottom. I think that'd be great. Would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this. If you think I'm crazy, or would you drop the money for a character? And what character do you want? What have I missed as a character? Is it Umbra? Is it Suds? Is it I'm trying to think of someone else. Five Finger Freddy over on Shipwreck Bay. Is that is that someone that you want? What about Gloria? Gloria, the Athena mysterious stranger, the missing one, the one we haven't seen since I guess the comic books are the last place we saw her. Or better yet, Arthur Pendragon Jr. Wouldn't you want a Pendragon statue for your collection? I would love to have that. So let's see if we can talk to NECA. Maybe NECA could work on that, or Dark Horse, some other companies that work on some statues or some figures or some action figures That'd be great. I would totally buy a skeleton that had a keg and a little banana and a blunderbuss. Some of the Ashen Lords, or even just some of the like the mutinous helmsmen would be cool. Having like little figures like that, and you could set them up on a desk, give them to your kids. Heck, give kids something to play with, man. Sea of Thieves is a ripe IP for this kind of stuff. And I would love to see if they could take some of that and actually put it into some really fun collectibles. Ahoy there, pirates. This is the ad for this episode, and I did want to let you know if you wanted to avoid these and just get a regular filler, you can head over to the Patreon. There's a special feed just for patrons that get the ad-free version. If you want to keep listening, though, I can't say I blame you, because this week I want to let you know about Loot Crate and getting 15% off of most crates and crate subscriptions when you use the link and code RobotsRadio in the show notes. Also, you can head over to audiobooks.com, get your first 3 audiobooks for free, and that can include any 2 VIP books, or use the affiliate link for Green Man Gaming. If you're a PC gamer or you'd like to save money on games, it's one of the benefits of being a PC gamer. Head over to Green Man Gaming. You can get codes for Steam, Epic, any of the different stores that they have deals going on. They have deals going on all the time, and if you plan on buying there, please consider using our affiliate link. All of that goes straight to me through the network. Thank you all so much for everything that you do to support this podcast. It means the world to me, and I continue to try and improve the quality and the content for you. With that, pirates, let's get back to the show. Next up on today's docket, let's talk about Halo and how it pertains to Sea of Thieves. Well, I've already talked a little bit about server stability, but let's talk about cosmetics, because now we are going to be getting the original Spartan ship set from December 24th to November 24th. So from November 24th to December 1st, you're going to be able to log into the game and earn the Spartan ship set for free. This is in celebration of Halo Infinite being released, and between the dates of December 1st and December 8th, you'll be able to get the new Noble Spartan sails and flag. Now, as far as I know, these are the first time that they've released a flag that is a collector's item specifically to any set. We've had flags in the past, but this is the first time they've had something like that. I'm surprised that they didn't go with another figurehead. Typically it's a sails and figurehead kind of combo that they do in the Emporium, but we're going to be getting the Noble Spartan sails and flag, and I really like these. I think they're really beautiful. I think that there's a good time as any for people to be able to log into the game to help celebrate Halo. We know a lot of the team members over at Rare are big Halo fans. I've become quite a big fan myself, but without the baggage that comes with having years and years of playing these games and having familiarity with the guns and the feeling and the story and stuff. So it's all very fresh and new to me. And based on the campaign reveals, I can't wait to jump into that. But until then, we'll be able to go into Sea of Thieves. We'll be able to get the Spartan set. Now, this set was something that was released during E3 2019, I believe, when the first real reveal of Halo Infinite came out. Actually, was it 2019? Maybe it was 2020. It could have been 2020, because I think 2020 was in lead up to when we were going to be getting the Series X, and they announced the release date of that to coincide with the actual console for the Series X. And at the time, we didn't know there was technically an S, but there were rumors of it. So if you missed out, this is a great way to get that ship set, especially if you're a Halo fan. It looks amazing. I love running around with it. And the Noble Spartan sails and flag look good too. They look like they have taken some of the lessons that they learned from most recent Emporium updates to the livery cosmetics that they've been putting out, and put that towards the elite legendary look from the difficulties, but in a Sea of Thieves fashion. So you'll be able to get these. Make sure you log in, especially between the 24th and the 8th. You just have to get into there. And while you're at it, download or stream Halo Multiplayer, because they're releasing some anniversary cosmetics for your Spartans in the Mark sets as well, too. So just a lot of cosmetics going around right now. Great time to log into some games, especially if you have Game Pass Ultimate. Jump on there, stream that content. You don't even have to download it nowadays. and it's a lot of good stuff to pick up. The next thing that I wanted to talk about as far as the update is concerned actually deals with the event that we're going to be getting. So we're going to be having the new Feast of Bounty event that's going to be starting. Actually, it's probably already starting now. By the time you're listening to this, it will have started. And once you get it, you head over to Lorena. She'll tell you about the Feast of Bounty flag. You'll pick up the flag. Then you have to go out and cook up different pieces of meat. So pork, chicken, snake. You got megalodon and kraken meat, shark meat as well. It doesn't matter necessarily if you're using a campfire on an island or your ship's stove, as long as you jump in there and start cooking up some of this stuff. Also, any campfire or ship stove will do if you use fish. Now, that kicks off in just a few hours as of the time of recording, and that will be going until the 25th. Once the 25th hits, we will then get the end of the event that will be going until the 29th. Now, I don't know necessarily what that pertains to, but there is an overindulgence event that's going to be going during this, which will have a tattoo set and a title included with it. And the description there says, devour cooked meat and fish to complete this challenge and earn a reward. Try to avoid indigestion. So make sure it's pretty cooked. Now, I don't know the details of this because at the time we're recording, this is not unlocked. So I'm just trying to base it based on the information that we have. But from what I can tell, as long as you're working on these challenges, which start in a couple hours, you'll be able to get the Feast of Bounty rewards for those. Now, that is a makeup set, that is a scar set, as well as a bounty bringer title. And if you complete the overindulgence, you'll be able to get that tattoo set as well too. So kind of the normal event rewards that we're getting when they aren't straight cosmetics for like weapons. Typically we get weapons for these kind of things. So scar, makeup, tattoo set, all very welcomed. I'll be interested to see how hard this is, given that it is running for roughly, what is it, the 22nd to the 29th. So that's 6 days. And kind of in celebration of Thanksgiving. Short event. Hopefully people remember. Hopefully people aren't traveling. I know a lot of people are going to be traveling. They may end up missing out on this. So if you're listening to this on your phone, do yourself a favor. If you have Game Pass Ultimate, go grab the xbox.com/play website. I'm going to double check this while I'm doing this as well, just to make sure that it's the actual right address. So if you go to xbox.com/play, that is the cloud, I'm combining two words there, the cloud gaming beta. All you have to do is log in with the account that you use for Xbox, and you can stream games on your phone. Now, I'm not saying you got to go do a Fort of Fortune on your phone. That's not what I'm saying, but Sea of Thieves is touch compatible. So even if you don't have a controller with you and you want to be able to do this, what I would suggest is call up some of your friends, jump in, have them get some food ready, make sure that they can have you log in, get yourself like a half-hour time, and see if they can hand you a bunch of meat to cook up, or at least be in the crew while they're doing it, so that you can get credit for this. Now, it's not going to be a big deal if you don't get this. It's just cosmetics. It's just a game. Make sure you're taking time to spend with family, especially right now when there's a lot of people that don't have the opportunity to do this while it's safe. So first off, be safe. Secondly, don't do this while you're driving. Thirdly, try to organize it with some friends. Try and make it easier, or make it an event at the actual house. If you've got a couple people that you play with in your family, jump on, cook some meat, especially while food is cooking around you. There's going to be plenty of downtime. You don't necessarily have to go watch a parade. So hopefully you guys have an opportunity to do this. If you do, let me know. I'd love to hear some of the stories that go around while you were waiting for stuff to cook, or maybe you were watching a game, or maybe you were checking out some streams. Whatever you do, let me know how you feel. If you got this, if it was easy, great. I'd love to get some feedback on this as well too. So I did that thing called research, and I dug a little more into this event, and I wanted to get you guys some more information. So this actually pertains to the second half of the event. We've got the first half is active by the time you're listening to this. And of course, you just have to go in and cook up different pieces of meat. It looks like pork and chicken are going to be 10 pieces. It looks like shark or snake. This is, and keep in mind, or not and, or shark or snake, 10 pieces, as well as 10 pieces of kraken or megalodon. You're going to probably have to go with meg. And meg isn't, or not meg, kraken. No, wait. Megalodon. Megalodon's easier to find. They pop up everywhere. You're going to get at least 4 to 5 pieces. Try and find a couple megalodons in the next week to kill. Then you've got 10 pieces of fish. Very easy to do, just off of the actual dock of the outpost. Now, here's the trick. Starting on November 25th through the 29th, that's going to be tough. I don't know how you're going to do this. Hopefully you have some friends, or maybe you're good at making friends. But you have to be able to fly your flag, which is easy. Go pick it up from Lorena. She'll give you the free flag of bounty, or Feast of Bounty flag. Sail that. Then you have to change a piece of your clothing. Doesn't matter what type of your clothing you're changing. You just have to change your clothing. Then you have to head to an outpost and share a drink with a pirate from another crew. Then you have to play a musical instrument with a pirate from another crew. And then you have to put a treasure item from your ship onto another crew's ship. If you complete all of those, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will take care of those achievements, which means that you'll be able to get the Feast of Bounty or the Bounty Bringer title. You only have to get 11 of the challenges complete. In the first one, you can already get, just by getting the flag, that's already one. You've got the pork and chicken, which is 1. You've got the shark or snake, which is 2. You've got the kraken or meg, which is 3. And then you've got the fish as 4. So in the first half, you can already get 5 taken care of out of the 11 that you'll need to be able to get the title. The first one only takes the first reward, which is the makeup, only takes 5 different events. The scar only takes an additional 5. And I think that unlocks when you complete all of the celebration challenges during the Feast of Bounty to unlock that, which the celebration challenges don't start until the 25th. So realistically, all you have to do is find a piece of treasure, hijack another crew, press gang them into your alliance. You don't have to be in an alliance, but you got to get them to an outpost. So probably look for a crew that have just spawned in, sail over, drop something on their something on their ship. Whether you take it back or not, that's up to you. Head in there, raise a glass, and start playing a musical instrument, hoping that they wake up and start playing music with you as well too. That's probably going to be your best bet. But you get 4 days to do that. The event starts pretty much now. It goes till the 29th. Pirates, I wish you the best. I really, really do, because I don't know how easy or hard this second half is going to be, depending on whether or not you're able to find someone. But get out there, get social, and just hop around offering stuff to people. It's not going to be too hard. So good luck. All right, pirates. I think that's going to do it for this episode. I did get one question in short notice. When dragons from Captain Balzania? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know how dragons are going to fit into this canon. I mean, it's Pirates of the Caribbean world, so I guess when Pirates of the Caribbean has dragons, that's going to be my best bet. When Pirates of the Caribbean has dragons, that's when we'll get pirates or dragons in Sea of Thieves. And hopefully that's a thing. I don't know how everyone else feels about that, but yeah, a lot of people have been asking about different pets coming to Sea of Thieves. Really, I don't know when we're going to be getting any new pets. I don't even know if new pets are on the docket. I would not be surprised if pets aren't on the new docket, but a lot of people hoping that we get some new pets. Man, I tell you what, I went through the patch notes. We covered most of the big points last episode. After playing the game a bit on this patch, I gotta say, I'm still having a lot of problems hearing people get on board the ship. And that's like actively trying to hear if people are jumping on board, and they're still managing to get aboard pretty silently. So I don't know what's going on necessarily with that. I haven't been able to test out any of the other stuff that is something that I've consciously been able to test. You know, I've run into situations where we're fighting people. Anecdotally, I haven't noticed anything weird, but if you're noticing something, feel free to let me know. 2 tips that I found out about things that I didn't realize. I I found out, well, I have some thoughts on the Wanda Spyglass thing. And I think this is because Rare tends to put out little hints and tips and stuff like so. The Wanda Spyglass is one topic. I did find out, thanks to Reddit, that if you have the ghostly equipment from the Pirate's Life campaign, those tall tales, if you're using, say, like the ghostly tankard, the ghostly tankard, if you're using that while in the fog, the tankard itself, if you look through it, actually cancels out the fog effect. Just one of those weird things with the way Unreal Engine works. Doesn't seem like it's intended, but if you're having trouble finding someone in the seas, grab your ghostly tankard or have that one equipped for emergencies, just like having a shortcut to the shores of gold or a Pirate's Life if you need to portal out or get into the Red Sea safely. So the last thing that I wanted to touch on pertains to Wanda Spyglass. It's a level 100 reward in the season pass for Pirate Legends. It's got some interesting runes on it, and it has a red lens. And I'm very curious to put on my tinfoil hat and kind of talk about this for a little bit, because a lot of people are wondering if the intended effect of being able to see pirates as they were, quote unquote, by removing the green filter that is on ghosts when you look at them with a red lensed object, whether it be the Reaper's Heart weapons from the Emporium, or you're using Wanda's Spyglass, which is a Pirate Legend reward in the battle in the Plunder Pass, you can see them with different tone mapping that resembles what a normal pirate would look like if they didn't have this ghostly effect to them. Now, if you do this to, say, like Ramses, he's going to look green because his model is green without the effect. Other pirates in the tavern, in the Athena's Fortune tavern, are just regular pirates. They just happen to have the ghostly green effect on them. A lot of people are suggesting that this is intended, and I'm starting to drink the Kool-Aid on this one. I'm starting to see the correlation, because with Wanda Spyglass, is innocuous as that seems, if I'm using the term right, it doesn't seem like there's a lot to it. It just seems like it's a one-off item that you get, and when you're looking at different ghosts, it's just like they don't have the green glow. And then I started thinking about those Reaper items, and a lot of people said, oh, well, you know, this is nothing new. This is something that we've had with the Reaper Heart, Ire Reach, and items like that, and you can have it in the game. And then I started to think, well, okay, but Wanda is in charge of the Reaper's bones. Like they are part of her plan. Like she built up that PvP aspect of the game to try and, you know, get gold away from the Gold Hoarder and away from Flameheart. You know, that was the whole point of Wanda building up the Reaper's bones. So you've got the Reaper bone weapon, or the Reaper's Heart weapons, which can remove the guise of a ghost to see a pirate as they were. Now you've got the Wanda Spyglass, which is also removing it by having that red lens. And I'm trying to see if there's a reason why Reapers are so heavily invested in ways to see pirates as themselves before they became ghosts, or at least removing that ghost effect. Is that something that, much like the Ferryman's Lantern, when you get the Ferryman's Lantern from, I believe it's Tall Tale 8, Revenge of the Morning Star, when you get that and you're going around and you're looking for the crew of the Morning Star, and you see their ghosts up on Old Faithful Island, you're reliving the past, and that's something that's reused in Seabound Soul. So it's not unheard of for Rare to build in story using specific equipment, much like Jack's compass, to reveal things that we haven't been able to see with the naked eye. And I'm starting to drink that red Kool-Aid, and I'm starting to see things for what they might be. And that the Reaper's Heart, Reaper's Bones, Reaper's Heart weapon set, if I'm remembering this correctly, you know, I could be off on the name there. That was something that was put into the game. And they may have seen the effect. It may have been an accident, and they may have leaned into it. It's not unheard of that they could have seen what it does and decided that that was a cool unexpected consequence of using that specific tint with the game in the way they've designed it, and they're just leaning heavy into it. And the way that they're teasing out the story is by including a spyglass that has Wanda's name attached to it. Now, I know this isn't new to other people. I mean, this is something that was brought up on Captain Blubber's Sea of Thieves podcast with Davram TV. Davram brought it up, and I can't remember if he noticed it from something from Reddit, but then other people went and picked it up, started making content around it to try and talk about it. And what initially I thought was just a happenstance, just a product of code and design that didn't get noticed and is seeing a weird after effect, much like the ghost tankard being able to see through the fog. I think that this is what this initially was, but it would not surprise me if Rare decided to take this opportunity to lean into it, much in the same way that we found out that one of the Sea Dogs over at the Sea Dog Tavern happened to have a freckle in the same place as the freckle on the masked stranger's mask before we were officially told that it was Wanda the Warsmith or the Captain Warsmith. We thought it might have been her, and she disappeared for a certain amount of time, and then the masked stranger appeared. So the correlation there was a result of the community talking about it, sharing stories about it, questioning the possibility. So I would not be surprised if that was the case. There's also been some interesting changes going on around the world, and I don't know much about what's going on with them, but it's becoming clearer that some of the teases that we got from Sea of Thieves earlier on that revolve around the ancients and the power that they have, the ancient power that seems to be on the minds of everyone in the Sea of Thieves, and what that could potentially be, whether it be the Whispering Plague or something else, has started to affect some of the islands. If you head over to Thieves Haven and you go up to the top of the Thieves Haven, a lot of the equipment that was originally used to help try and craft ships has been dismantled and replaced in different areas with the same type of lattices and structures. Some parts of it have been destroyed, and the remnants can be found at the base of the ocean inside these Havens caverns. If you go up to the top, you'll notice that some of the other sides of those open areas where the rock is open, you can jump down into the middle, have had new wooden structures crafted. We're not quite sure what they're trying to move in those areas. But we've noticed that some of the ground has shifted around some of the stone heads over on Thieves Haven. It looks different than it did in the past. It's not as smoothed over. It looks like things have been buried or unearthed, depending on who's been messing around in there. And we don't really know a whole lot about what's going on. This is one of those moments where we're starting to see some of the light touches that Rare tends to do when they start to tell story over time. So if you find a change in the world and you want to let us know about it, that'd be great. I'd love to share more with it. I know that there's been some happenings over on the unmarked island over in the map grid of K9 where the big dog is. The tavern, or not the tavern, the cavern that leads to the skeleton throne there has been kind of shorn down. A lot of the sides have been kind of filed away. Seems very strange. I haven't gotten a chance to go out there and check it now that I think about it. But I know that there's been some changes around there as well too. So keep a weather eye. Maybe go check out Wanda's workshop once in a while, just to see if anything's changed. Take some photos if you can. And what I would recommend is if you happen to be out and about and you know that there's some ancient stuff out there, whether it be paintings or whether it be headstones, different things like that, you might want to grab a couple photos right now just to kind of document stuff before things change too much. If the Reaper's hideout is any indication about progressing through story, the Reaper's hideout used to be the unmarked island where we had the killer whale shipwreck was the most prominent thing there, and Merrick was shipwrecked there. He had a whole bunch of stuff, and then eventually Wanda took over and started to change up that island completely. And I would not be surprised if something was going on over at Thieves Haven now that is very much like that. In fact, I'm going to venture to say that we're probably going to find out soon, maybe in the next few months, that things over in Thieves Haven are going to change drastically. And I would not be surprised if we start to unearth more ancient style stones, whether it be another circle or some triangle placements for items. Don't be surprised if you start noticing some weird stuff over there, because we still don't know necessarily where Ramsey and Mercia and Shane and Rathbone had their hideout. We know that there's a shipwreck there that they were trying to build a galleon, but we don't know where their hideout was, because there's supposed to be a hideout somewhere on that island. Now, I don't believe any place that we have over there right now is the indicated spot that's referenced in the Athena's Fortune book. But with the new book coming out, not knowing who it belongs to, and starting to see changes around the world, I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting some big lore dumps soon. So that's what I have for this episode. Pirates, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'd love to get some feedback from you about what you heard today, how you feel, especially with regards to the event and the server stability and the merchandise. So let me know. Hit me up over on captlogun@gmail.com. You can always get a hold of me on Twitter at capt_logun. Once in a while, you might actually catch me streaming at a really weird hour, and I'm probably going to be playing some Halo 5 or jumping into Sea of Thieves, maybe even Destiny, probably Forza 5, if I'm being honest. But head over there. I would love to see some folks come chat, say hi, and with that, pirates, thank you. I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
Following is a public service announcement from the Starter Set Dungeons & Dragons podcast. This is your D&D campaign. This is the Starter Set podcast. You know how, like, poison frogs don't lick each other's backs?
So it's Howl's Moving Castle with a face.
Hey there, I'm Great Mandibles.
Because one of the party speaks Abyssal. You're all going to die.
And then adventure falls into your lap. Plop.
This is your D&D campaign after listening to the Starter Set podcast. So join Sam and Ed every Friday on the Starter Set podcast for prime Dungeons & Dragons content. Any questions?
Looking for a Fallout audio drama? It's True Vault Escapades! That's right, follow the death-defying adventures of Detective Walter Camry and his Vault Girl Bunny as they solve the Wasteland's biggest mysteries. From the dramatic Texas prologue to the high-stakes world of New Vegas, Walter and Bunny risk it all to crack everything from murders, slaver syndicates, and corruption at the highest level in post-nuclear America. True Vault Escapades. It's a Fallout show with a detective twist. Look for True Vault Escapades wherever you get your podcasts.